Welcome back, everybody. It's that time of the week again for another Two Tamers Talk. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, man. We're starting the new year off right.
We are indeed.
I have been feeling so refreshed now that it is 2024. I think this is going to be a great year. I have been on an awesome run at locals. I won one, which was great, but I don't usually go expecting to win.
Yeah.
I just want to play well and play the decks that I want to play and do well. And I think this year has been really positive. I like the synergy of the channel right now.
Mm-hmm.
I like the direction. I like the content. I like the teamwork. I'm so positive right now. It's not even funny how great things have been.
Yeah, I think just our locals in general and the game in general is probably in the best place that it's been since we started.
In a while, for sure. It feels so good. I'm just loving every moment of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We got nationals coming up. You and I aren't going.
Nope.
So maybe the next couple episodes or the next week or whatever, we'll have like a national prep episode. I don't know how much detail Basil wants to give away on what he's doing.
That they're gonna. I think that'll be a
which is crazy because it's kind of opposite of how we are. We're just like, yeah, man, here's our strategy. This is what we're gonna do. If you watched us, you deserve to win, I guess. But that's fine.
You see, it's the regionals. You know I'm playing Old Forest because I've been talking about it for weeks. But they're keeping their cards. It's kind of a niche cliche, but pretty close to the vest.
Yeah, which
about what they're playing.
There's nothing wrong with that and stuff like that. And
feel free to look them out. Justin, Ryan, Basil. There's going to be a few people that you've seen on the channel. I think so.
Nito's going. Jacob's. Yeah, you said Jacob. Yeah. And then I think some people just going down that are good associates of friends of ours and been on the channel that are playing in side events too.
Yeah, you'll see some familiar faces down there for sure. But yeah,
absolutely.
No, there's a lot going on, especially just heading into, I guess, when this comes out. EX5 is out. So
EX5 is out today.
We are filming this a little bit early in the week. Normally we film around Wednesday or
Thursday.
Yeah. We are filming this on a Monday, so when we get to the reveals, there'll probably be more reveals after that.
Yeah, we're going to be behind. That's
if you didn't know, I think everybody in the country is pretty much going through a cold snap right now.
Yeah.
We just had a huge dumping of snow. And
ice. And this was the best day because we don't know if we're going to make locals.
Yeah.
We don't know if we're going to be able to record. So this was a good call for you to decide to film today.
So that being said, EX5 is here.
Oh my God.
What are you excited about? Because I don't think we've really got too deep into
what
it.
I am excited for is EX sets are great. Everyone knows EX sets are kind of like that additional combo, additional pieces for something, or just brand new archetypes that maybe aren't super meta, but this particular EX set has tons of dominant meta defining pieces.
There's a lot of greasy cards in this
set. I'm just going to start off by saying for meta, that will probably come after Nationals. We'll probably get the deck profile videos, or if there's a ban list, there's no point in doing them. So we're probably not going to have deck profile videos of Anubis. Probably not of Melga. That's just never who we've been anyways, and I'm okay with that.
If we do, we might have, it'll be a creative
But there's a
collab.
million other things in this set that are really good, that are fun, there's good synergy.
Yeah.
Back to your question, you asked me what am I excited for? This, to me, it's hard, right? Because I want to answer Grace Nova.
Yeah.
Because Digimon Dawn and Dusk defined my childhood, made me who I am as a person. And I played that game religiously all the time, nonstop, hours and hours, and loved the gameplay, loved the Dianamon line, loved the Apollomon line. And
it was 2 games, right?
Yeah, it was 2. It's like Pokemon Red and Blue, where they're the same story, same game, but just like version differences, right?
They wanted to make your parents buy it twice.
Yeah, well, Dawn, you got Apollomon as your starter. Dusk, you got Diana as your starter, right? And then there's some other changes too. We don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to answer. But I've been looking at that list, trying to figure out how to build it. And quite frankly, I am so lost. Because it's good. Obviously, Grace Nova's insanely strong. But do you go just all your Digimon or just the EX5 Light Fang Nightclaw stuff?
Pretty much all-inclusive in that deck, yeah.
Right. Or I saw somebody online talking about comments and reading things. They played the BT11 Biomon as a searcher with the red base.
Oh, okay.
Because it searches red vaccine, and all the Apollomon line stuff is red vaccine.
Gotcha.
So that's really interesting to me. I'm like, okay. And then even watching card protagonist videos, I love. If you haven't watched card protagonist videos, go watch their channel. They're awesome.
Yeah.
We don't know them personally or anything, so we love their videos.
Way to get a sneak peek at how
the deck works, right?
Yeah.
And they run like a 2 red and a 2 blue, or 2 red and 3 blue boost. I can't remember their list off the top of my head, and I do like that direction myself.
That's interesting.
Just kind of doing the memory boost, because then you have the memory to make the moves that you want to make, and you can, and you're gonna want either a Light Fang or a Nightclaw, so you want red or blue.
Yeah.
So exactly what I'm going to do for that, no idea. That's probably a deck profile video that we'll get towards the middle of the EX5
we'll have to feel it
format.
out for
Probably
sure.
won't be the first one. So that's what I wanted to answer, is what I'm most excited for. But, oh my God, there's a whole Leopardmon tribe.
Yeah, in that. And you can pick which way you want to go with it.
Oh, so first of all, I've sent like 3-4 different deck profile videos to our group.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, here's what happens if I go heavy Leo, focusing on just the Indomitable. Here's what happens if I go Marukimon. I know Marukimon's not a Leo, I understand, but he plays like the Indomitable pieces, which plays the Grap Leo and the Loader Leo, right? And then you have the direction of, okay, what if I do, like dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so much. The fact that Elecmon, Lolimon, however you say his name. Lyolamon. I'm horrible at that pronunciation. Right? You get both of that tribe, and the top end is Bancho Leomon and Heavy Leomon. And it's like, whoa, Heavy Leomon sick. That's like, when this game first started, that was a card I never thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
And so I have my old Leomon deck, the one that's been on the channel. It's done pretty well.
Yeah.
And that's like blue level 4s and some Pangemons for a top end and stuff like that. Like, do I go that direction? Update that with like Pangemon X antibody, Leomon X antibody. So do I focus on Leo? Do I do both? There are so many things to do within this. This might be the EX set with the most amount of creativity.
I think so too.
You know, because obviously there's bans happening.
Yeah.
A lot of the purple-blue draw engine for the Garurumons getting hit.
Yeah.
But you'd have Beelstar getting updated. You'd have all of my purple decks that rely on drawing and trashing getting updated with those particular cards out of EX5. I mean, there's Leopardmon X Antibody, too. That
was the one I wanted to talk to you about. Yeah. I know that you're going to be excited about that because you're a Leopardmon fan, and because of Green Gotcha, I am also becoming a Leopardmon fan.
Because it's so good.
It is a really, really strong card.
The hardest part of that, though, is how many do you play? Because your deck, it's a little bit easier, I think. Not that it's easy for you. That's not what I'm saying. With Gotcha, right? My deck, the Leopardmon Leopard mode does so much. The Leopardmon does so much. Leopardmon X does so much. What do I do for my ratio?
And it would be an easy decision if the Leopardmon X only went for one on the regular Leopardmon.
You just took out Leopard mode.
Yeah, I think it also goes for one on top of the Leopard mode.
I think I saw
and
lists.
It's the bonus.
Yeah, and I think I saw a list that take the Leopardmon mode completely out and just go Leopard X. But I even see Leopardmon X being used in decks with like Marukimon. Yeah. Just because it's such a good level 6 now. In general, there's so much you can do. It's like, oh, geez, what do you even do? So, but you know what's even crazy about this set? You pointed this out to me. I get Green Hawkmon.
You do get Green Hawkmon.
So, guys, if you've watched our Hawkmon video that dropped this week, let us know in the comments because you know Green Hawkmon's coming your way. We're going to see what happens with that. But
it's going to get weirder.
It's just weird. I know I've only touched on green, but purple's all the meta stuff. So that's why I kind of haven't really talked about that.
Yeah.
Other colors get so much support. But I think my first deck profile video, I really want the Devas.
Yeah.
I think I want the Devas to be the first deck profile. I think Leo's would be a good first too, so I'm torn. We'll see which one I get done first. I spent a lot of time the last couple nights just looking at deck lists for the Devas and watching gameplay and seeing how it goes. And I really like that playstyle.
It's really
interesting. The A stuff is really cool. The Fang Longmon is crazy.
A high risk, high reward deck.
Yeah. And I really like some people like teching in. Like my favorite tech is EX3 Antilamon. I'm a huge Antilamon fan. It's probably one of my favorite Devas. Vajramon's really close too. But anyways, Antilamon is Alliance, right? So you Alliance like Fang Long. You can Alliance one of your level 6s. You can alliance another level 5 Deva. It was probably the better move is to do the nether Devas. And now it's 2 checks at 14, 15K. And it's a Deva. So, like, you know, you have tons of potential.
Being able to
and that card recovers.
Being able to alliance an ace and keep the ace safe for the swing is really good move for sure.
And that card recovers, too, when it swings, I think. It's like, I can't remember the condition. So, it's like, do I play that as a 3 of? Do I do it as a 2 of so I can have as many different names? Yeah. And then, like, for example, BT... It's 6 or 7. You think I'd be better at this by now. But the Majramon, the blue dragon,
I think it was 6. Yeah, I think it was 6,
if your opponent has no Digimon with no Digivolution sources.
Also works on an empty board.
So it's like that's the Deva that can be played. And a lot of lists I see just kind of do that as a 1 of anyway. So it might just be cute to have some fun with that as a 1 of.
Yeah.
You know, and then like, do you play BT11, the Mahiramon? That's a Deva that was used in Leopardmon. There are so many cool choices you can do with the Devas, and I've just always been a huge Deva Sovereign fan. I think that's what I'm the most excited for. So, long answer to your question of what I'm excited for. The answer is everything, and us getting tons of deck profiles your way. But I'm going to throw the question back at you. Is there anything you're specifically looking forward to in EX5?
Ooh.
EX5?
I'm looking at, if you guys haven't watched the Gacha deck, I've been having a lot of fun with that. I'm kind of trying to prep for this. We'll get into this a little bit later, but the green-only tournament that they announced coming to locals near you, I think it's probably geared around that Terriermon starter deck coming out in March, but I'm not a huge green player. So
No, you're not.
I kind of, when the idea came up of, hey, are you going to compete in this green-only tournament, I want to, but I have to figure out what green deck I want to play. And so I kind of just went back and looked at my older video and just tried to update it. And now I'm kind of all in. I'm looking at, I've got alt arts. I really like the way the deck plays. It goes really fast. It's really consistent. Everything's really flowing with me for that deck. And so you start looking at these green level 6s, particularly in EX5, and oh my god, just like you said, you got the Leomons, heavy Leomon evoing for free.
Heavy Leomon's great. Bancha Leomon's great. Yeah. Marukimon is great. Yeah. Leopardmon X is great.
Leopardmon X is fantastic.
Like, all 4 of the 6s for green coming out basically are just so good.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you pick a lane? That's why it's like, it's going to be like 4 different deck profile videos at this point of what I do.
What flavor of gacha do you want?
What flavor of green do you want at this point? We're just all going to become green players for a little bit.
I'm having a lot of fun with that deck. So that's kind of what I'm most excited about. I think I am going to build Melga just because I really want to make sure that the way that I learn how to play decks is to build them and play them myself.
So
and if I want to be able to play against it, I really think I need to build it and actually do some rounds with it so I know what to do, because I don't want to get smacked in the mouth with a deck that I don't know what it does. Like when you show up to locals and someone's got Dark Nightmon and you're like, I don't know what that does. And they're like, oh, well then I just win because you're going to play into all my strengths,
So are you going to be the hookup for the tokens for the Leviathan deck with the Octomon that plays tokens on your opponent's board? You're generally the token master, so I'm looking forward to hearing that.
I'll be the hookup for our locals. I don't think I'm going to distribute them nationally, but no, I like token decks a lot. I think they're a lot of fun.
I think you should play Leviathan too, man. I think you should because it's got a good balance of everything.
I'm going to get my Leviathan alt arts and hold on to them until BT15.
Because
Levi X and the option, all that good stuff. It gets crazy.
I can see you just wrecking house with Leviathan. I'm telling you.
That's gonna be, I'm trying to diversify my color portfolio. I don't really play purple, but I really like Leviathan.
Yeah,
I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh my god. So EX5 is gonna be an insane set. Not sure exactly if we've gotten our video out for the case opening by the point. It's either been out last night or it's out tomorrow or later today.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure on the logistics because we are talking about the future.
Yeah.
Like it's Friday when it's Tuesday. So, but we're going to open that. Hopefully you guys get a chance to watch that case opening.
Yeah.
Awesome about the polls. We're actually, at first we were kind of hesitant to get a case.
Yeah.
We were like, I don't know, it's the things being restricted and
EX
stuff.
sets are usually like 76 cards total, so you end up with a lot of alt arts, but you
that's
also
what
a ton of bulk.
We do like the alt arts.
We do
like the alt arts, and we do actually really like this EX set. So, do you think this is going to be the best EX set we've ever gotten?
I mean, EX4 was kind of a...
EX4 was good. EX4 was good.
It's okay.
It was, but it was like, I think this might be the best EX set.
Could be good.
It could be good.
I mean, EX1, though, that Machine Dramon...
That's the thing, though, man.
Boy.
The EX1 deck, EX1 had like 2 cards that are good. And everyone else wanted to make things, myself included. I loved Venom Iotismon back then.
Well, every good card they've just given it a different art. So if you want to know what cards are good out of EX1,
which ones have? Yeah, absolutely. So let us know in the comments what you're thinking about EX5, decks you want to build, how much you're looking forward to this set, what your favorite EX set is. We want to hear it. We love the discussion. And as always, if you just want to follow us on Instagram, as you get some behind-the-scenes action, go ahead.
Links right here.
Links here.
Yeah.
We're pretty excited.
One more important note about EX5 is they did announce, if you guys bought boxes of the last set and you were looking for those Nightmons or the Shadramons.
Even Rust Tyrannos,
Diaboromon Ace.
Yeah.
Those were pretty few and far between to get a hold of because most decks needed 4. The Morphmon for Eosmon.
The Shadramon, right?
Shadramon, a lot
like
of people
even though Imperial Dramon is not like the dominant deck or whatever, right? If you want to play that, you need those Shadramons.
Yeah, so every deck needed 4 of those. So and you had to bought a box, you got 1. So
and I didn't get Shadramon, and I didn't get like Rust Ace. I didn't get, I didn't get
we opened a case
Morphomon,
and we missed some.
Yeah, I don't think any of us got Morphomon. Maybe one.
So. Yeah, no.
It was weird.
So that being said, I think Bandai kind of listened to people's struggles with that because there is another pack like that. I think they call it the 3rd anniversary pack. That's going to be one of the box toppers in EX5. But they are also releasing those packs to your LGS. Hopefully, if your LGS gets promo material from Bandai, so you should be able to get additional ones with boxes. So you should be able to hopefully get those Destromons and
Destrom. I'm really glad you're mentioning this pack because, for example, Saberdramon. Saberdramon is really going to be a highly coveted card. And it sucks because I'm included in that.
It's going to be really expensive.
I'm going to want to use
really playable in Anubis.
It's an Anubis. It's playable, but like all my jank decks, like I can put that in my Hawkmon Armor Rush because it's 2-color red, right? Like that's in like it's just so good. It's just an incredible card. And like my Ravemon wants to play it, my Phoenixmon wants to play it, right? Yeah. So to me, to try to track those down, I don't necessarily want to pay the high price that they're going to be for everyone preparing for Nats.
Yeah, you're going to be fighting all the Anubis players. Yeah.
Yep. So I think so kudos to Bandai for giving us that pack.
Yeah, that
as an additional way instead of just a box topper, because I never like it when they do that. But
yeah,
I know they're probably not going to be foil. But why aren't they?
Probably not. Yeah,
like
none of the other ones
like
were.
if they come in their own pack, can we just agree that all these cards should be foiled or textured or something? If they're coming in a unique pack, like my Rust Ace is ugly looking because it's not shiny.
So is Diaboromon.
So is Diabor. Yeah, I know you know. It's like, come on, man. We need why not?
That's par for the course, though. It's probably because they're in the same pack as a Diaboromon.
Sure, whatever.
Shamed.
Seedramon would be cool out of that. Update some Aegis-Dramon.
Right. Yes, I want to see that profile. Jeff.
I do too. Like you and me both. There's a lot of cool things happening in this EX5.
Give me a new sea animal deck that just breaks itself apart.
I don't even know where to start and what direction to go.
We'll get there.
Because not only that, I've been personally trying to go through people's comments and talk about the updates they want to see on other decks, on older decks.
Yeah.
And so it's just there's so many cool things to do in EX5, and I think it's going to be a really fun format.
Yeah.
Once the ban hits, probably.
It's also going to be a very short format, just like this last one was one of our shorter formats, which kind of leads into another thing I wanted to talk about. And
really happy you came with this idea.
This is the first time in a long time
it's been a while.
We've had we have to talk about wallet fatigue because Bandai is doing this thing where we had that format in the summer where we sat on BT13 for a long time, and then they gave us RB1 a few months later. Then we had to wait a few more months around Thanksgiving for starter decks, and then we had to wait again. There's been this 2-month gap in formats, 2+ month gap in formats, longer if you don't even count RB1 because you got 3 borderline bad archetypes in that.
Yeah.
But now we had a set in January. We had a full set. We had 14.
Yeah.
And then we have EX5 this month. And then next month we have BT15.
That is way too much.
And then after that we have a starter deck. So we have 4 formats in 4 months.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think Bandai is doing a good thing by just getting us, I guess, closer to Japan? But
no. First of all, everybody that is upset that we're not at the same pace as Japan or doesn't want to catch up, I don't want to catch up to them.
Yeah.
Right? Not just because I get to, as a content creator, look at their lists and come up with cool ideas. That's not even anything to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Digimon, Bandai is a Japanese company. Let them be ahead. That's fine. Not a big deal. I want to maintain a steady pace of product. So that way, because you brought up the term wallet fatigue.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you want to talk about this topic because something I didn't think about, but now hopefully all of our fans, we're starting going to be conscious and start putting some money aside.
Yeah.
Right? Because we do like to buy a lot of product for this game.
Yeah.
Whether it's blisters, whether it's a case to do our case videos. Trust me, I love you guys. This is nothing against you guys. We don't do this channel for the money.
No,
this is a hobby for us. It's not like we're getting paid the big bucks and we can just buy product nonstop. Trust me. We have jobs. We pay
this
for
is not an LLC. There's no write-offs.
This is our spending money to do all this game. So it's like, oh my God, the fact that we're going to have to bounce super quickly, it's like whiplash.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we don't even have enough time to make the quality deck profiles that we like to make on this channel because for me, at least, I like to test everything. before I put it on camera. Because there's so many times I theory craft things. I've talked about this before on the podcast. Where I think this is going to be a great idea, it's going to work so well, and then it's just a dud on the board. And it's just, whether it's too much setup, whether it doesn't have the support, whatever.
Just bad matchups is totally fine. Because there's a lot of decks that we don't play and test against, and all of a sudden you go to locals, and you're like, this deck does not work against Belphemon at all.
And, it's okay. I'll still film a deck if it doesn't work against one matchup.
Sure.
Right. But it's
some decks don't work against an entire color.
How am I supposed to do the fans justice when it's like by the time I get one deck profile done, we're on to the next set? So first of all, shout out to all of us because we have a team now. We have a group of us making profile videos. That really does help take the strain off if we all kind of divide and conquer.
Well, you know what I've done in advance, and it's just kind of been a thing that I kind of learned from just getting them from Basil, but it's been really good for my deck building is printing proxies of future cards and putting them in a deck, So I've been able to test some of this, Leopardmon X stuff ahead of time, and just kind of get some fine tuning beforehand. That way, when the stuff does come out, I'm a little bit more ready rather than waiting for the cards to actually get in my hands, and all of a sudden, clock starts ticking for BT15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there's got to be some sort of balance. And I don't understand what the issue is. Like, I personally am never going to be one to complain too much if we're stuck in a long format because it helps with the money. It helps being able to define, and it helps us because we make a little bit more off-meta decks, and we have more time to test and play test.
That being said, deck profiles do go a little stale near the end when you're waiting for months.
You're like,
I
need some new pieces. Like, I just need this one new piece to make this happen. Right. So I agree that, but it's just like, it's way too fast. So
that and retail prices of product are not going down.
They're not going down. They're not going to get cheaper. So we're going to have to pay all the money.
Blister packs are $5 now.
And
it's crazy.
So, I mean, do you think you have like an ideal number of weeks to be with each set? Like, obviously, the starter deck's not going to count. That's fine if the starter deck comes in the middle. Right. But, like, going from EX5 to BT15, like, what would your ideal? Because I know if I say 6 weeks, which I don't know is my answer, right? I'm not going to say that's my answer. But, if I say that, someone's going to be like, oh, that's not enough time.
Well, I think even if there wasn't an EX set this month, going from December to February between BT sets is still pretty quick, honestly, from what we've experienced in the past. I mean, we've been stuck in formats for a prolonged amount of time, and we know the other side of that, too. That's not always a good thing. It's not always a bad thing. But, it's I think probably, I would say 10 weeks for a format, I think is healthy. That's 10 locals. That's 10 know. But this boom, 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 boom. I don't know if Bandai is analyzing the market and they're like, they think,
I feel like they
tax money kind of comes in around now. So they're not now, but a little bit like next month. So I think maybe they're trying to analyze when people will have a little bit more spending money. I think they kind of identified that their demographic isn't necessarily like teenagers and kids. It's more people like me and you who have jobs and, So that might be a little market analysis going on there.
Interesting. I think I agree with somewhere between 6 to 10 weeks, because I like to have a little bit of time to enjoy a format, try out some rogue stuff, figure out metas, and then, things that change if a starter deck drops. Whatever. That can drop in the middle too, for sure. But I don't think what I'm stumbling on is why are they doing this? Because I don't think the answer is to catch up to Japan. We are never going to catch up to Japan. And I think for all those people that complain about it, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm sorry in advance, right? But just kind of get over it. We're never going to catch up to Japan. You don't want to be caught up to Japan. Yes, it's cool for worldwide tournaments. Don't get me wrong. But
you don't want to deal with the broken combos.
I enjoy being where we're at. I like where we're at, right? So I don't understand if Bandai has 12 months in a year and you probably either want some stuff to release right before the holidays so people have Christmas money for it. Like, why not every 2 months? Why not, February, April, June, August, October, December, right? Like six sets a year. Just keep it consistent, especially because it's not like they're making the material like for Japan where they're dropping it and all that stuff. They're already ahead of the game in Japan. All they have to do is just make these times line up. So I mean, know what I'm saying?
The other tricky part about it too is tournament timing, because this month in particular is just bonkers because you have Nats like a week after EX EX5 drops.
So it is hard mode for everyone to test.
Yeah, you have all these people that want to play, and so they're looking to the Japan meta. They're looking at the cards coming out, but they don't have them in their hands to test. So unless you're printing proxies or playing tabletop or something like that,
some sort of simulator,
you're not being a serious contender for Nats.
Sure.
You know, so I think that Bandai really needs to consider. Like, I don't know if their tournament organizers and their product release people actually talk, because it doesn't seem like it.
Well, what I think that Bandai doesn't set up the dates of the tournaments unless it's like a huge tournament. I think it's core TCG. It's pro play games.
Those are regionals, yeah.
Right. It's like
Nats is pretty big, though.
It's whoever the event organizer is setting that up to like, we want to run an event. Let's run an event on this day. Let's pick a day. Boom, let's go. And then Bandai sanctions it, right? And I'd be cool. You know, I'm fine if Bandai every third weekend of the month has a big event in person somewhere, right?
Like regionals,
you know, but what this kind of just goes back to, is there a way that we can have set amount of days? Like, for example, if it's the third weekend of every month, you know that in August of this year, on the third weekend of the month, you could fly to California tournament. That means you could buy your hotel earlier. You could buy your plane ticket earlier.
Yeah.
You could kind of prepare. And then if there's certain sets that come out on certain, you know, kind of like the same consistent schedule, you kind of have an idea what to practice. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah,
you know,
they could make it more uniform.
You know, and I'm not complaining. Digimon's not dead. Digimon's not going anywhere.
No.
It's at a great spot. I love where we're at as the game. I'm enjoying the ever-living crap out of all this. This is great.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, you know, why can't we have some sort of routine? I don't know if it's because, you know, I'm an old man now who just likes routines or whatever, but, you know, it's like, that's too much money to spend on back-to-back-to-back sets in like, what, 3, 4, 5 weeks all at once?
When the game started, they just kept using that, you know, COVID, supply chain, COVID,
which
COVID, you know, which is fine.
It happens. I get that.
But we're pretty far removed from that now.
Yeah, we're at the point now.
You can produce cardboard regularly.
We're at the point now where they already know what's in the set. They have the art. It's designed. The effects are made, right? All they have to do is, all right, we're going to print it in English. It's going to release on February 1st. Yeah. It's going to release 2 months after that for the next set. It's going to release 2 months. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Obviously, I'm not in charge. Bandai, since you're subscribed, jump in the comments. Let us know your reasonings.
And you know what? There's going to be a lot of fans out there that say, "Hey, more cards the better." And
we agree.
You're not wrong either.
We definitely agree. More cards the better.
As a channel, I'm very excited for all of these brand new sets and cards. And locals is going to be even more dynamic.
Yes,
we love to open cardboard. Yeah. At the end of sets, man, like when we're at the end of long formats, I'll just go in and just be like, I need to open something. You know, like what's the cheapest box you got? You know, I just want to open something.
EX1?
EX1, yeah, sure. We opened a case of EX1 because we were bored.
Yeah.
So there's so there is that side of it too. I'm excited for new cards. It's nice that we get new cards every month.
Yes.
But if you're talking about the longevity and the health of the game for new players, I think you should probably wait 2 months between releasing
especially
new
if decks drastically change between sets. Like, it's fine if, for example, Shine Greymon, just the first example popped ahead. You built the core a couple sets ago, and then each set you got individual pieces to make it stronger.
Yeah.
But like, let's say this meta, Anubis is the top dog. You have that
Melga or whatever.
You have that. Well, I guess dog was a bad pun. My bad. I apologize, everybody. I didn't realize that. The set just then dies after you spend all the money, and the next set comes out. You got to jump on the next one for meta players.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But when it's like consistent sets that do give you the pieces, yes, it's great. But I don't know if people need to have a look at themselves in their mirror, and instead of just wanting what everybody else has, like American players wanting the cards Japanese players have, you know, you guys just need to be satisfied with what we do got, because we got it pretty good over here, man.
Yeah. If you think about it, I think retail for a box is like $85 to $90
it's
now.
Not bad. The price isn't bad, especially from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, there's tons of different decks out there. There's tons of budget decks.
Yeah.
Right, that you can play. There's ways to play without breaking the bank, and that's all we really want to address here.
Yeah.
Which is why you mentioned wallet fatigue. Great term. It's the fact that so many sets back to back, but guys, we got to hear from you. Jump in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Let us know. What do you think? Is it too long in between two sets? Are we crazy? Or we just have the wrong perspective? We want to hear what your guys' thoughts process are. Or if you guys know why specifically EX5, BT15, BT16 is rapid.
Yeah, maybe you work for a distro. And
you know, maybe there's
enlighten us.
Maybe there's a certain reason why those 3 sets are instant, and then maybe it will slow down after. Please let us know, because we're definitely curious.
Yeah, with that being said, they're already starting to reveal new cards for EX6.
I can't believe we're on EX6.
Dude,
it's kind of interesting because like I can't seem to figure out when the EX set is. It every two BT
every
sets?
2 BTs is an EX.
Yeah.
And then they're starting to get weird with LMs, and LM is, I don't know. There's all kinds of weird.
How are you
stuff
doing your
on.
binder now? Are you doing
They're
LM as its own separate binder, or is that
It'll probably
binder?
it'll have to be because it's its own.
That's
tag
how
on the
I'm
bottom.
at too.
Yeah.
It's just like so. It's kind of interesting, but
and those are going to be good cards.
when do we get the LM set?
I don't know.
They don't
let us know in the comments. I think you guys probably
because that's going to be in between that too. Because
it's not its own box though. It's like
it's not a box.
I think they're cards included in something.
Or maybe
I don't
it's
know.
just like a double pack or like a box of 4 packs or something.
Yeah, it's limited.
Kind of like what they
set or
wanted
something.
to do with RB1 before we cyberbullied them
Yes.
into changing it to a full box. So
And now
Americans,
we're
we're
stuck
just never happy with what we got. We always want what everyone else has anyways. So
Yeah, it works.
everyone's going to have something to complain, myself included. So I'm very curious about that. But
Yeah, so we'll
LM's
see
got
what
some
happens
cool
with the Elm
pieces.
sets. But yeah, as of right now, it's 2 BTs to an EX. So
Interesting.
and the EX is usually a shorter release. It's usually
Yeah.
like shoved right after.
And I'm
BT
kind of
set.
okay with EX sets because generally there's only like a deck or two that comes out of that's worth consistently playing or whatever.
Yeah,
And a lot of times you just get support for old stuff that needed it.
yeah.
But with the way EX5 is going, and with maybe what even we're getting out of EX6, I'm scared.
It's
It could
very
be good.
interesting.
It could be really good.
So like we said, this is
Yeah.
Monday, so we've revealed about 7 or 8 different cards so
Sure.
far. The first one starting off is that Barbamon.
Yes, so I think EX6 is supposed to be what, the 7th grade Demon Lord set? Is
Think
that
so?
right?
I think so.
So Barbamon is the last Demon Lord that we have not gotten yet. We've now had all 7 of the Demon Lords.
Yep.
So let's just hold on for 1 sec before we talk about Barbamon. We
Okay.
know it's going to be a great Demon Lord set. You ready to make a prediction on a secret rare, what it's going to be? Is it going to be Lucamon Satan mode?
They can't call it that in America.
Well,
What
they
are
can
the-
just say SM.
I think they were
Or
gonna
fall down mode? No.
No,
It's Satan. It's because video games they've been calling it Satan mode.
have they?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's got to be, or maybe it'll just be SM.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's probably going to be a level 7, something to do where if you have some great Demon Lords, because I can't imagine they're going to have all 7 Demon Lords in this set.
I don't know how they could.
I can't see
they're
the
all
room,
purple.
but it is an EX set, so they can have more room for individual colors.
Mm-hmm.
But Barbamon does look pretty interesting, so I'm kind of curious where the Lucamon's going to fall.
Yeah.
If well, that was kind of a bad pun too. Dang, I'm just horrible today. But like Lucamon as the dragon, the Satan mode as the level of the secret,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be interesting. And then I kind of think with one of the reveals that we got, the other secret is going to be a Yellow Angel secret again.
Yeah, it seems like we're heading down that path.
I'm not
yeah.
always perfect with my predictions. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. But like, it seems like we're getting some angels to counteract the demons,
Yeah.
which would make sense anyways.
Yeah.
So,
what does a Barbamon do?
that's hard for me to zoom in here on my little thing here. Let me just read this real quick. So Barbamon. I was just actually talking to a buddy about this, right? So I have a friend of mine who his favorite types of cards and card games are anything that makes your opponent discard,
Yeah.
right? So on play, when digivolving, trash one card in your opponent's hand without looking.
Yeah.
I like that they're distinguishing that because sometimes ruling some cards, you're like, who picks the card that's trash and how do you pick it?
Yeah.
Because there's been instances where it's like, is it random? What, like the Mirage Gaggamon wasn't clear.
I think at our locals we
You know?
usually just like hold them up and then they
And
just
they just
pick
pick.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's got all turns once per turn. When a card is trashed from your opponent's hand, you may play one 10 or less purple card from your trash without playing the cost. Does that mean we're going to get 10 cost 7th grade Demon Lords?
Maybe.
Or, that are vanilla, or maybe they're aces, right? Maybe they're like 7-8 drop ace Demon Lords,
Something,
whatever.
yeah.
Or is it just designed for Lucamon specifically, and they're going to make a new 10 cost Lucamon?
Well, it
I
seems
don't
like the
know.
trashing cards from hand down to 6 is kind of the strategy. 'cause
Yeah.
If we move forward a little bit and look at the Demi-Devi, which is the level 3, that has an on deletion if your opponent has 6 or less.
Yeah.
Delete something, I think. And then the
Yeah.
inheritable is if your opponent has 6 or less, 1K.
Yeah.
And then the Devimon
It's
is
similar, too.
Similar to that, yeah. And you see those
Yeah.
below. But
Yeah. The Barbamon, though, is for each card in your opponent's hand, reduce the effect's play cost maximum by 1. So, like, if they have 6 cards, you can only play a 4 cost, I think.
I think that's how that works.
So
Something like that, yeah.
it's going to be interesting. Like, that's why I'm kind of thinking it's going to be Ace Demon Lords, or I'm thinking there's just not necessarily a full Demon Lord deck with this Barbamon.
Well, it seems like considering the support of the the cards under it kind of lean towards it. It seems
Yeah.
like they're leaning into the trash from hand
Yeah.
aspect for purple in this set.
Yeah. So then there is now a new keyword on this Barbamon called Scapegoat, which is hilarious for purple because I just think of Mephistomon with his goat head.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of like the demon stuff, like Belphemon as well as the goat. Right? When this Digimon will be deleted other than by your effects, by deleting one of your other Digimon, prevent that deletion. So
like reverse decoy.
It's like decoy, but it doesn't have to be specific. It's interesting to see what's going to happen. And to me, this seems like an effect that purple should have had since the beginning.
I like it, yeah.
You know, I like it a lot.
I like that they specified by your opponent's effects because otherwise that would just be calling from the darkness bait like crazy.
Yeah, so with the new Devimons, with the new Demi-Devimons, all this stuff... Is Dawn Devi going to come back? Is it just to use the Devimon for anything else? Is it for the Demon Lords? Are all the Demon Lords going to have hand disruption like this?
I don't know.
Very interesting. The hand disruption stuff is kind of cool.
I like it a lot.
I personally don't like playing against it.
I don't like playing against either because they always grab the card you need.
And I personally don't play those decks because I don't like it happening to me. I don't want it to happen to my opponent because I feel bad.
I don't like playing those decks because it's such a high roll, you know?
Yeah.
It's really high rolly whether like if your win con is randomly trash the card they need out of their hand, that's a 1 in 8 shot every time you do it, 1 in 7, whatever they have.
Yeah.
So it doesn't scratch my consistency itch.
Yeah.
You know, and unless the further cards revealed allow you to do it a lot.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
So I mean, we've gotten Leviamon, with Leviamon X now, so I can't imagine they're gonna print another Leviamon.
Not anytime soon.
I do think they're going to do another Lucamon because there hasn't been that much Lucamon support. Maybe Lilith, because Lilith has had 2 cards, right? You know, just going through the 7 great Demon Lords. Like I said, this is the first Barbamon.
Yeah.
I mean, do they print another Beelzemon? I don't think so.
We have the starter deck. Seems like we're a little heavy on that.
Yeah, so it seems like they're really maybe... I'm back and forth because I can't figure out what they're doing with this set. But the Angels.
We do have new Angels.
We have a new level 3 Angels Searcher, which I love.
Yeah.
So this is one of those that I think deeper Digimon fans, what's his name, Luxamon, will know because he's like the level 3 of Dominionmon,
which we don't have.
Dominionmon is a card we don't have in the game, and I love it when Bandai finally gives us Digimon that we don't have already.
And the artwork on it looks really
and the
cool.
artwork looks great. It's a good, like all these cards so far look really good.
Yeah.
To me, I look back at my binders and I think of all the different Digimon that have representation. And I don't see any reason why I have to have the same Digimon printed over and over again when we have a whole world full of things to do, even if they're not good cards, whatever. I just want to have different bodies.
Yeah.
So Dominionmon. Dominionmon is going to be a cool angel. He reminds me of like Magna Angemon keeping that like laser sword that I love so much and having an upgrade. And then there's other angels in his kind of line. Well, is Dominionmon going to be the secret? Is that the big boss angel that we want to support? I mean, do we get a Magna Angemon Holy Priest mode where he doesn't have the armor and the sword?
Yeah. Well, I think they've shown that, I mean, just with the Angemon secret in the last set, like they're not afraid to give you a level 4 that's a secret anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they can go any direction.
They can do whatever they want.
Is there going to be a big boss level 7 angel that I am somehow not thinking about as the other secret? I don't know. And of course,
we've only seen 2 supers.
We've only seen 2 supers, right? It's way too early in reveals. Who knows? It'll be weeks before we get all the reveals or whatever. Anyway, so I'm very curious, very excited. But I do think that because Dominionmon generally is paired with Slash Angemon and Clavis Angemon, be curious if we get at least another Clavis because we did just get another Slash, and I think 16 or 15, I can't remember off the top of my head.
And it's good.
And it's good. And it's really
Yellow,
good.
black.
I mean, the first one's great too. Sorry, Basil.
Sorry. Not sorry. I love that card.
So be curious to see what the Angel deck is going to look like because ever since EX1, people have wanted to play Yellow Angels.
Yep.
You know? And finally, we're getting some ways to make EX1 Yellow Angels work well. Kind of curious to see what the rest of the deck happens. I'm pumped.
I have a plea to Bandai.
Yes.
Okay. If you're going to make Yellow Angels, for the love of God, find a way to make it faster. I hate going to locals and playing against Angels and go to time because it recovers a lot. It's not like security control where it kills you, but it recovers so much that
without a purpose, it feels like, you know,
I don't know.
just
Whether it's
recovers to
that,
recover.
4 great dragons, any of that stuff, it seems like those decks just go so slow in a game where you have to play 3 rounds in 45 minutes plus overtime. It seems like it's really harrowing. If you win one and lose one, you're probably going to go to time against
Absolutely
a Yellow Angels vaccine, whatever deck. Like,
yeah.
Yellow just needs to be faster. So Bandai, make Yellow faster.
The problem is if they make Yellow faster, then it recovers, wipes boards with DP reductions, and is fast. I'd be terrible. Yellow would be the best color. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I think the problem is that every game's gonna have slow decks. Every deck is gonna have.
It just doesn't seem like there's a fast way to play it. You know.
I don't think there is. I don't think there should be necessarily either. So that's just a tough call what to do. Yeah. I think the big thing is have clear distinctions, whether it's Archangel support, because some Angel cards only support the Archangels.
Yeah.
Some only support Cherubs. Some only support Seraphs.
Yeah.
Right, and so this Luxmon does kind of say a couple of those different names.
Yeah,
I
everything.
Can't remember.
It's essentially.
Does it
every
say 3 Great Angels?
I think maybe it's. I know Fallen Angels is not there.
Okay,
that one I know is not there.
So yeah, because 3 Great Angels are Cherubimon, the vaccine one.
Yeah.
The Seraphimon and a Phanimon. Those are the 3 Great Angels, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we'll see when it comes out.
So very curious what we're gonna see and what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Give me something, Bandai.
I think we're all excited for decks to get support.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that why not? Why in this point in the game can we not have support for angels, for insects, for dinosaurs like we've been getting, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different passive Digimon and so many things that can be done. So I am excited about EX6, and I cannot wait to see the other reveals, and I can't wait to see what reveal we missed during the week of recording.
I know
that we should have talked about. That it's like, we missed talking about that. That would be great.
Yeah, because they're averaging like 2 or 3 a day now.
Yeah,
they're just spitting them out. There could be one like right now that's happening.
As we're talking. Yeah. Watch the secret, and I was completely wrong. Or whatever.
But yeah, jump in the comments and let us know what you think about EX6 coming out.
Yeah.
And what you're excited or you're anticipating for.
Yeah.
It, so.
And let us know your favorite Demon Lord. And let us know your favorite Angel. We want to know these things. Let us know. Yes, please.
All right. Well, you know what I want to know?
What?
I want to know what your card of the week is.
Does that mean I'm going first?
I think that means you're going first.
Man, okay. I feel bad because every time I do card of the week, I talk too much. But this is going to be another time I talk too much.
That's what podcasts are for.
I think they like. Let me know in the comments if I talk too much. Anyways, my card of the week is BT11 Metal Tyrannomon.
Oh, okay.
So this is this is one of those cards that somehow I keep overlooking in my life, and I don't know why, because the Tyrannomon video just dropped where I talked about...
Because you don't play Machine anymore, Jeff.
Because I don't play Machine anymore. You're right. Because I did... You're right. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. But I have a huge Tyrannomon fan, and so you think I would know about this card and be able to consistently know when to use it. So I was very excited for our Leopardmon video that we shot, 2 weeks ago, something like that, and posted. And we saw Rycrup at locals. I don't get to interact with them as much as everybody else does because I don't go to like Sunday locals, right? And and he's the guy that was going to build Leopardmon, and I bet you his version was going to be really good. I love his GG deck, and it also uses that Metal Tyrannomon. So a lot of that like play style is up his alley. So he's the one guy like that I wanted approval from. So I went to him when I saw him on Wednesday. I was like, dude, how was the Leopardmon deck? Did it live up to your potential? What do you think? And he goes, yeah, dude, I really liked it. I got some ideas. Why aren't you playing BT11 Metal Tyrannomon?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Why would that fit in there? It's not a beast. Because I was just because sometimes I get in my own way where I'm so focused on searching and consistency. I know everyone knows this. It's not a surprise. But he goes, it does the same thing as your Mahiramon, but better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
It does. So this is an unofficial, not going to do an update series because we're going to get Leopardmon X anyways. And then that Bastardmon promo probably goes in there, so who knows. But that Leopardmon X, a 2 of, should be in that Mahiramon spot.
For sure, yeah.
And that card is so good. The fact that it's on play or when digivolving, it is an expensive Evo, but it's an 8K. So, each tamer, suspend anything, not DP level.
Locks a body.
Right, locks the body down. And it's got a badass inheritable.
Yeah.
And then... another reason, the Bandai gods, the Digimon, Yggdrasil himself came down, wanted me for sure to make sure that this is my card of the week because I was working on that Tyrannomon deck that we just dropped.
Yeah.
And was talking to you guys about it, and Basil goes, why aren't you playing BT11 Metal Tyrannomon? So once again, I somehow, because this is after I talked to Rycrup too, where I was already had this in my head. Why aren't you playing that? And I'm like, oh, God, you're right. Like, why am I not playing that card?
Yeah.
The card is so good. Love the Metal Tyrannomon. Can't wait for a new Master Tyrannomon that does something cool, too. But that's my card of the week. Thank you.
All right. I guess we're getting into mine then. Mine's not going to be a shocker, just in the fact that it is on its way to being restricted. But as a blue player, and you guys probably know from my deck profiles, Bukamon. This egg is so much fun to use and abuse until we're done with it.
Why is it so good?
If you're a blue player, use this egg until you can't, or until you go down to 1. And I'll get into the other half of why I like this, but I had an instance at locals this week where my opponent had an empty board, and I was able to promote a BT1 Vedramon. And I had 2 Renas on the field. I was able to promote the Vedramon. I had 2 Renas on the field. If you don't know what that old card does, it unsuspends if you have a blue tamer when attacking. So I was able to promote, swing the Vedramon, unsuspend with jamming, gain memory off the Renas because I unsuspended. 1 check jamming. Okay? Swing again. 1 more check jamming. Evo into the BT2, or I had a training too. So Evo for 1 into the BT2 Arrow Vedramon. When Digivolving, unsuspend. Cool. 1 more check jamming. Activate Arena. Activate its when Digivolving. Unsuspend. Swing another check jamming. Activate the other Arena. So I was able to get 5 checks jamming off without even getting into an Ulfos. Which is, that's why the card's getting restricted, folks. That is a broken thing. Because all you have to have is more sources than anything on their field.
Which is crazy how that ruling and interactions work, because sometimes they're not clear. Like we were talking earlier in the episode about the Mahiramon. Where it's like, it says your opponent ain't got none Digimon with no sources. Or what, obviously it doesn't say that, but it says your opponent has no Digimon with no sources. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean it triggers when their board is empty? Does that mean it triggers if they literally have at least 1 Digimon with no sources? So the Bukamon is just...
and their first attempt before they restricted it was to errata it. So it is... as many still shuts it off. And you're like, cool, who cares? Everything in blue strip sources anyways. Whatever. Do whatever you want.
You have ways to strip the sources. But and a lot of times too, even if you're just at like a 4 or 5, your opponent has a Digimon with less sources.
Particularly empty boards, I think, is why that card is getting restricted. So that's half of why it's my card of the week. The other half is, I think, post-restriction, it's going to change the way blue players pick their eggs.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think this will be the first time in Digimon where a color has almost a required egg. And do you break down the consistency and go 4-1, or do you actually play a 3-1 split?
Interesting.
I think you go 3-1 because you do want to see the Bukamon. Particularly
if you decide to play 4 eggs, which I think you and I both like 4 eggs in general.
In blue, I like 4 for sure.
But what happens is the reason why you pick 4 eggs is because you want 1 effect consistently. Not necessarily the number of eggs. So would you still do I know what you're saying. But that's interesting.
Because you want the odds to be more in the favor of getting the Bukamon. Instead of going from a 20% chance, you go to a 25% chance.
At that point, do you play 3 eggs?
Depends on the deck.
Because, obviously, the reason why you played 4 was consistency, right? And you play 5 if you just hate going against security control vaccines where you need that 5th egg, or green where you're going through so many eggs.
It's all a matter of percentage.
Sometimes when I play 4 eggs, I only go through 3 eggs.
It really depends.
And the
deck.
game's done, right? So do you go to 3 eggs? I really like that point of it changes the way eggs are going to be in the game for blue, where like you said, a mandatory egg, and your number is going to be completely different. You're not going to play a play set of 1 egg necessarily anymore. Great point.
So, that's it. And until then, I'm sorry, but I'm going to use 4 of them.
You should.
Until it's so strong and fun to use, and it changes the way that you deck build for this short period of time. Because once that's gone, and I'm back to the Wanyamon, I think I get rid of that Vedramon. I get rid of that.
Exactly. You can be a little bit more aggressive. You can go for the early checks, knowing you have jamming. So that makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this one, folks.
What a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is fun. So next week we'll be post EX5. We'll be post case opening. And we'll have all kinds of fun things to talk about. We should probably be post at least 1 EX5 locals, maybe. And we'll be sure to report what we see in the field. It's
going to be the Wild West out there. You just don't know what's going to happen.
And that's my favorite part. So, all right, guys, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Instagram. We got tons of EX5 profiles coming for you.
Oh, we're excited. It's going to be great.
Stay tuned to the channel. It's some new life. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.
Thanks.